My folks decided to bail on my baby shower and head out for a wine-tasting excursion with my sibling. She's forever been the favored child in their eyes. Later that evening, Mom shot me a message. I shot back a simple acknowledgment. Understood, repercussions on the horizon. Come morning, an alert pinged, a $2,000 withdrawal try from my savings. I locked down all my cards instantly. 90 minutes on, she bombarded my line with rings, though I'd kicked off the next step by then. On the actual day of the shower, I suited up not once, but twice. Not over outfit dilemmas, but to buy time. In my thoughts, I replayed visions of them strolling in. Mom with her excessive cosmetics and a boisterous praise that circled back to her own spotlight. Dad lingering near the snacks, feigning disinterest in the whole affair. And my sister, Riley, twisting the spotlight onto herself, as per usual. I glanced at the clock, then my screen, then the clock once more. I convinced myself they'd arrive fashionably late, but arrive they would. After all, who skips their kids' impending arrival festivity? Friends and loved ones trickled in starting at midday. I plastered on a phony grin amid the gut-twisting unease. The setup was flawless. My partner, Jake, had assisted with inflating the helium orbs the prior evening, and our circle had pitched in with arrangements that dawn. Tiny pastries topped with soft lavender icing, favor pouches, and a nook for parenting tomes. It mirrored a social media dream board, save for the absences that mattered most. Precisely at 2:12 in the afternoon, my device vibrated. Not a ring, but an image. There was Mom, Dad, and Riley lounging at an outdoor bistro amid grapevines, sipping assortments of vintages. Riley sported shades, and Mom beamed as if this topped all joys. A sharp pang hit my chest briefly. I fixated on the snapshot, wordless. No words attached, merely the visual. I messaged Mom, "Have you lost track of the date?" Her reply lagged 4 minutes. Riley's endured a tough stretch. This outing was essential for her. She's the true heir apparent regardless. Hang in there. That phrase shattered a core piece within, not a mere fracture but a full rupture. As if a long frayed thread at last surrendered. I gripped my gadget, lost in reflections of each instance I'd settled their dues. Each wire of $3,000 to Riley on schedule. Each bonus deposit to Mom and Dad for housing upkeep or vehicle repairs. Yet they couldn't spare a single afternoon for the heralding of my debut offspring's welcome. I left her note unanswered. Instead, I gazed blankly through the pane as attendees chuckled, toasted with disposable flutes, and bestowed parcels around me. My presence was elsewhere. Jake picked up on it right away. He held his tongue. Merely positioned himself beside me. I suspect he grasped the implications prior to my own epiphany. Beyond mere letdown, this marked a pivot. That twilight we tidied the remnants. Jake and I collapsed onto the sofa, the hush that erects barriers. He broke it at last. "What's the plan?" My retort, a single directive, repercussions inbound. Dawn broke with me alert prematurely. Slumber evaded me. Her phrasing looped endlessly in my psyche. Around 9:30 I scanned my alerts. Detected, failed shift of $2,000 from Harper's Enterprise deposit to Riley T. I remained statue, still detached. Such a move lacked my sanction. My profile demands dual verification. The sole prior collaborator ages back was Mom. She'd aided in configuring my ledger system at launch. I'd overlooked revoking her privileges, assumed it unnecessary. Clearly a miscalculation. The ensuing 60 minutes flew in securing every fiscal vessel, professional, private, all of it, reset credentials. Installed vigilance notifications, alerted my fiscal overseer. Jake hovered supportively, query-free, merely guarding my flank, as I executed the essentials. By 11:45 Mom dialed, followed by repeats. Then Riley. Then Dad, Riley anew. 8 ignored summonses within the hour, 0 messages left, pure frenzy. Yet phase 2 churned onward and reversal was off the table, not on this occasion. I screened the incoming from Mom's end, Riley's too. Even Dad's. Once he mustered the resolve, the barrage intensified like a crisis. But I'd ceased granting them the thrill of my timbre. I aimed for them to marinate in that void. That brand of void lands harder when reliance has been your crutch for bailouts. Ironically, I kicked off with the subtle shifts, the ones that creep under the radar, yet bite upon realization. Initially, I accessed the meal subscription I'd established for Mom and Dad long ago, registered in my moniker, linked to my corporate plastic. Next, I halted the $3,000 recurrent deposit striking Riley's holdings on the month's outset, punctual as pendulum swings. Not for merit on her part, She lacked it, merely professed necessity. Employment eluded her. Perpetual navigation of crises, perpetual rebound from setbacks, romantic splits, rental woes, counselors who missed the mark. The cycle persisted. Rather than erase the directive, I suspended it, craved her to register the halt. Subsequently, the joint streaming service membership. I altered the access code and disconnected peripherals. New dad tapped it for extras, athletic streams, vintage cowboy flicks, etc. Vanished. Additionally, the music streaming household tier. Purged all aliases bar mine and Jake's. That dusk, I confided in Jake my intent to reset fully. He sought no clarification. Simply retreated to his workspace, returned bearing a canary notepad and instructed, commence enumerating. There I perched in lounge attire, midway through gestation, cataloging each fiscal outlay that had propped them up. Mobile service bundle, their trio of connections under my tariff. Medical coverage supplements dispersed triennially without fail. Real estate levies from the prior cycle. I'd bridged their deficit, Riley's counseling invoices. Each appointment charged to my tab. Rideshare vouchers dispensed monthly after Riley cited transport-induced distress. Even the pet's medical tabs, those fell to me as well. By witching hour, the roster tallied 27 entries. Grand scales, modest ones, uniformly mine. Tears withheld. Sorrow absent, merely a sting of folly for prolonging it. The subsequent dawn heralded repercussions. Mom deposited a recording feigning normalcy. Darling, merely touching base. Silence from you lately, wishing you well. Affectionately, as if she hadn't ditched my maternal milestone mingle for vineyard pours with Riley, as if she hadn't dubbed Riley the authentic progeny. Then Riley messaged, odd glitch with the funds. Mind verifying, I pondered briefly, then countered. Verified, peculiar indeed, crickets followed. Midday brought the onslaught, kinfolk dormant for moons. Uncle Greg rang first. His recording peddled the tired trope of kin solidarity and cautioned against reprisals for a minor mix-up. From the very kin who'd once solicited $10,000 for a phantom fitness venture stake. I barred his contact. The morrow, Aunt Lisa pinged Jake, not my line his, probing welfare. Cited whispers of turmoil, speculated gestation moods fueling outbursts. Jake proffered the device, your cue. I erected the blockade likewise. That eve, an advisory surfaced. Riley had broadcast a tale on her social feed, ebony canvas, ivory script. Certain folks presume wealth grants dominion over kin. Alert, relatives aren't ATMs. Vintage Riley, victim mantle donned, portraying me as despot for opting out of bankrolling her existence. I abstained from retort. Merely archived the capture for posterity, though escalation mounted. Jake's kinfolk now entangled. His nephew messaged, noting oddities on a networking site about me forsaking bloodlines amid expectancy. Even Jake's colleague inquired on domestic harmony. Riley disseminated fabrications swifter than containment allowed. That weekend, Jake and I absconded. Loaded the vehicle, motored 120 minutes northward to a secluded woodland retreat rental. Signal barren, net barren, solely serenity, the variety that soothes rather than stirs. He packed our inaugural parenting volume and an instant snapshot device. We whipped flapjacks on a griddle and chortled over the subpar sweetener. Across 48 hours, we evaded all summons. Upon Sunday twilight return, a solitary missive awaited in my correspondence vault. Penned by Dad. Header, resolution time. I perused, singular phrase, this will haunt you, Sophie. That sealed my disengagement from his dispatches. Post that dispatch, I lingered motionless. Rage absent. Resolution absolute. Composure had reigned till then, even precision. But that utterance pivoted the axis. No mending loomed henceforth. Dialogues eclipsed. I bypassed response. Bypassed relays. Merely reproduced it, underscored the phrase in crimson, and stowed it within a fresh dossier in my archive receptacle. The identical dossier housing the lender's scam notice and duplicates of my official grievance. For this transcended familial discord. It constituted a perimeter infraction, and I at last addressed it accordingly. That midday, Riley rang. I permitted the trill, repeated summonses ensued. I permitted the chimes amid sorting infant garments fresh from storage. Then the recording landed. Her timbre lacked ire. Initially, she launched with a tentative quiver. Claiming ignorance of Mom and Dad's shower evasion till the 11th hour. Assumed my acquiescence sans protest. Then the crux, frankly, I failed to grasp the fuss. Merely a gathering, you're amplifying unduly, merely a gathering. That utterance froze my motions. I halted, clutching a minuscule romper, and comprehended her void of comprehension on the toll exacted. Oblivious, all of them. I devoted years insulating them from consequence gravity. And this yielded the harvest. They equated affection with perpetual readiness. Query-free. Upon my withdrawal from provision, they deemed it malfunction. The dawn after, I initiated the thorough purge. I rang the fiscal institution anew, urging documentation on the $2,000 pilfer bid. Post-authentication, they furnished logs of the apparatus deployed. Identical network marker as archived from Mom's aid in my fiscal app inception epochs prior. Matching locale, matching hardware profile. They skirted direct accusation, yet certainty dawned. Not Riley's doing, Mom's handiwork. I lodged a swindle dossier, not pursuing prosecution but etching permanence, craving evidentiary lineage. Jake sat sentinel, refining a ledger of our erstwhile communal vaults. Each row bore dual headers, operational or severed. By midday, Crimson dominated, all severed, then the juridical facet. Jake and I executed a definitive severance filing. A maneuver our fiscal advisor floated years prior amid Mom and Dad's levy entanglements. It enshrined my fiscal autonomy from them irrevocably. We drafted decrees excising them as contingency designees and revised my testamentary directives. Ambiguity banished henceforth. Then the barrages, not direct from the trio but peripheral players. A distant kin from Ohio, mute since Riley's prior matrimonial fiasco, dispatched via networking platform. Hi, loath to intrude, but Mom claims you've severed aid amid their hardships. Notes your transformation post-conception. Merely verifying status. Naturally. As if my evolution prompted the halt, I left it unread, stowed the dispatch and navigated to Riley's visual chronicle, fresh tale, ivory on ebony. Affluence blinds some to the scaffolds erected in lean eras. Tragic, lavish, from one bereft of reciprocal aid, I skipped the archive, indifference prevailed, remorse repelled. I'd bankrolled their ease for years, and upon craving mere solidarity, not currency, not labor, solely attendance, they deemed it drudgery. That eve I dispatched to Mom, instantaneous termination of all monetary props. Communal ledgers and accesses excised, swindled dossier submitted, subsequent discourse via juridical proxies. This shifts from sentiment to logistics. Severed. I omitted Riley and Dad from circulation. They merited no forewarnings. Merely vacuum. For days hush prevailed. No summonses, no theatrics, no broadcasts. I neared persuasion of perpetuity. Day 4 bore a parcel, sender unmarked, yet the script betrayed Mom's flourish. Contained our juvenile snapshot compendium, a fixed missive on binding. Kinship discards not its own. Absolution absent. Merely remorse veiled as fondness. I consigned it to storage and latched. That gloaming Jake queried from his den, sought credit in Nevada, assumed jest, till he forwarded the correspondence. A $20,000 borrowing petition bearing my alias as guarantor, my identifier numeral. My falsified autograph, prime petitioner, Dad. The scam unit validated the network aligned with parental domicile. They'd commandeered my persona, 3 hours dissolved in dialogues, institution, authorities. Persona pilfer prevention line, and credit lockdown enacted. When the Sentinel queried prosecution intent, I wavered. Jake didn't, she's midway gestating. Exploitation spanned years, lodge it. Subsequently Riley's dispatch. Truly escalated to Dad's report, mere maternal aid quest. He's paternal lineage, formerly I countered, not presently. Then the salvos, vitriol, remorse ploys, and the encapsulating barb. Mom asserts your debt post her sacrifices. No contrition stirred. Entitlement surged. Dawn bore Mom's kin's enclosures, exchanges betwixt Mom and kin. Should Sophie bar Riley's flow, we'll frame it as gestational unraveling. Consensus hours. Riley had vaunted manipulability of my purse. I abandoned perusal midway, yielded the device to Jake. Discourse terminated, he affirmed. That gloaming, he engaged counsel and issued prohibition edicts to Mom, Dad, and Riley. Then aggregated half-decade archives, exceeding $170,000, and tendered to our barrister. Pursuit not fiscal, merely validation. Then Jake executed my unachieved feat. He dialed Dad, measured. We're apprised of actions, filings dispatched, correspondence inbound weekly, further maneuvers court-bound, then disconnection, 3 hours elapsed. Mom rang, weeping. Denied complicity in Dad's deeds, never envisioned such extremity. Yet absolution evaded. That gloaming Riley aired an archival image. Irrespective of tides, eternal sibling bond, pity cascades in replies, yet verity, the lineage hadn't fractured anew. It had long splintered. I'd merely ceased the mending.